Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel again. Today I'm going to do a quick weekly wrap-up about the tools, news, tests about large language model, data analysis, machine learning, and so on. So basically, this week I expanded the toolbox of large language model, especially about the embedding models. So like Spacey, Universal Sentence Encoder, I have done some tests, see the differences, and it still requires a lot of research and study to really understand differences of different embedding models. And I also tried to use embedding models, both the self-made embedding model and more mature embedding model, to encode the message and eventually get a better classification results. In this week's summary, I'm going to add some research papers, which I think are very interesting. You can access these research paper and have your own understanding. I really recommend you to read them because they are very inclusive and very comprehensive. They include so many information. So basically, the 4-dimension page, new tools of this week, as I already said, and embedding models, general framework of the evaluation is already done for the first time. About the news part this week, I went to participate at the AWS Milano summit. I have noticed that in the financial industry, there are also some attempts to include the AI and the large language model in their existing IT pipeline. And I also see the demo of AWS chatbots and simulated AI agents, although they are not 100% impressive because the latency is still a problem. And I think the AWS Summit is really a good chance that you can explore the different company, the different teams, the different use case. I really appreciate the efforts of all the speakers. In the next time, I would like to explore more. And then I'm going to introduce you 3 research papers. So I say 3 graphs because I use the ChatGPT to generate a knowledge graph in the later pages. So just to give you a hint about how to quickly access the research papers. About the tests and use cases, I did some model comparison this week. I also did the embedding on the news data to try out different embedding models. Eventually, I also use embedding model to a specific classification task based on the span SMS dataset. If you're interested, feel free to check the videos I published. For the next step, I think I would go deeper to the model discussion, either with very simple models for data analytics purpose, and for large language model, embedding models to actually get a better picture of what the market is doing, what I personally think interesting to be doing. And of course, about RAG and agents, I think I already find some very good start point to actually summarize these techniques better and would share with you in due time. So about the 3 papers, the first one is called Large Language Models, a survey. I recommend you to read this paper because it really introduced the large language model, the evolution, also the future research, technological advancement, and so on. So basically, now I see there are different discussions about the current AI and the large language model and how close we are to AGI. And there are always 2 sides. One side are always advocating that the large language model is really revolutionary and we should scale up the adoption of such technology in the market. On the other side, because large language model always has the problem of hallucination and some inaccurate output, so they always call for caution and especially to warn the general market about the wide adoption of such unreliable technology and its aftermath, which we have to all confront with. So basically, there are different voices in the market. I encourage you to understand them. And of course, about the model itself, at this moment, I think it really helped me to at least to complete several tasks. About the creative part, for example, when I make the video, I do not use AI generation, but about the coding, about summarization of the information, about the building or strengthen your knowledge graph, I think they are very important. So just as if you are interested to understand the general large language model structure, this paper is good for you. And if you want to dig in some specific area, this is also a good starting point where you can find a niche or a specific topic where you can dig deeper. So basically, these are the quick summary from ChatGPT. If you are interested, you can take a look at it. And at this moment, I think for local research, I would focus on the open source models because I have more agility. I do not need to spend. I can also explore how I can make my private RAG workflow in my own infrastructure, my own equipments. So let's go to the next one. Next one is called a comprehensive overview of large language models. Of course, this one is also to introduce the large language model from different perspectives. It's like the previous one. I encourage you to read it. And of course, it also introduces key components of the development of the large language model, like tokenization, coding position, attention mechanism, activation function, layer normalization, distributed LLM training, libraries for the training, and so on. So at this point, I would like to say, if you are interested to understand the backstory of large language model, reading such paper will give you more rich background. But if you only focus on your use case, to find the tool to realize your use case, I really encourage you to, based on your budget, to try the online model and the local model, and based on your privacy needs, to try the online model where you have to share your information, or the local model which could be contained in a more private way. Use case, data quality, large language model choosing, and your own RAG pipeline. I think these are quite important for you to explore the utilization of large language model. Then this paper is about the multimodal chain of thought reasoning in large language models. So basically, chain of thought has been a very important topic. I think is above the RAG workflow because chain of thought has introduced a more complex reasoning or interaction mechanism with large language model. So basically, I think it is a really important area where you can try to explore and make sure that your use case could be better realized with large language model. So basically, I think the most important part about the chain of thought is to decompose a problem. So, for example, if I want to say I want to analyze the Apple stock, okay, I want to analyze the stock, I want to see if it's overvalued, undervalued, if the company is doing well or not, if the industry is going well or not. So if I do not have much time, I would ask, how is the stock doing and how is the company performing in the market? But if you actually decompose this problem, you are going to see more structured layout of your question. For example, I would ask, okay, how is the company's financial performance in the recent 3 years? First question. Second question is, how does the price been moving for the past 3 months, and which are the major news impacting its price or the stock performance? Okay. Then the final one, I could add which are the most impactful news or industry trend which could, in the long term, impact the stock performance. So by decomposing these problems, you are getting more complex question to large language model. It's similar to, in my own opinion, it's similar to prompt engineering, but it's beyond that because also, like you see here, some sub problems which are solved sequentially could be fed to the large language model or interact with the large language model in a different way. Not just like prompting just to put everything inside and expect only one response. And about the program sort, this summary says, this models the reasoning process as a program executing generated programs to derive answers. And there is also self-consistency decoding, so sampling multiple outputs and voting for the majority to increase the accuracy of final results. I think all of these techniques are actually focusing on resolving the hallucination problem. Because as previously, as you can see in my videos where I tried the agent's interaction, at this moment I have not put a very difficult problem, and I did not check every sentence for possible violation of the reality, which is hallucination. So by implement this chain of thought methodology, it can really reduce the likelihood of hallucination. And of course, there are also many more contents. I wish in the future, if I have this specific use case, or I can actually make them work practically to the question I have, to the problem I have, I will share with you in the future videos. So that's all for this week. I wish you enjoyed the content I share. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment. If you have any suggestion, you are more than welcome to share your ideas. And until next time, wish you have a good day, have a good evening, and see you next time. Bye bye.